Okay, today we are talking about how to replace an ice maker on a Samsung refrigerator. So here's a Samsung refrigerator in question. The ice maker is inside the door here. We're working on a model RF263BEAESR. So you remove the ice bucket here, simply pull it out. And there's the ice maker that we will be replacing. You can see it keeps icing up. This is a common problem with these Samsung refrigerator ice makers. You can buy the new ice makers online, readily available at multiple different appliance parts companies. So first, we're going to force it into defrost mode. We will do that by pressing and holding down the energy saver button here in the top left corner. At the same time, hold down the fridge button for roughly 8 to 10 seconds. You'll hear the fridge beep and the screen will change. Then press the fridge button 3 or 4 times until you see FD for forced defrost. It'll beep while it's in the forced defrost mode. To take it out of forced defrost, we're going to press and hold energy saver and fridge buttons simultaneously again for 8 to 10 seconds. You'll see the screen change. Press the fridge button 1 time. That takes it out of the forced defrost mode. Now we're going to turn off power to the refrigerator by pressing and holding energy saver and the freezer button until you see OF, OF on the screen. That shuts the power off to the fridge so we can safely disconnect the wiring harness to the old ice maker and reconnect the new ice maker safely with the power off to it. So let's get started. Again, the ice bucket is removed. There's the ice maker. You can see it's still got a solid chunk of ice built up on the bottom of it. So I'm going to use this 120 volt handheld steamer to simply melt off that ice. Be very careful when you're doing this. You don't want to apply too much steam to the plastic ice box and deform it or warp it. So I'd recommend applying a little bit of steam, check your work, see how the ice is melting, then apply a little bit more steam as you go. I find this usually only takes a few minutes. The reason I need to melt all this ice away is we need to hinge down that little access door to remove this ice maker. And you can buy these little handheld steamers at Walmart, Amazon, eBay, I believe even like Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, etc. They range anywhere from $30 on up to $100, depending on where you buy it and the make and model. They work great. They have different attachments. So if you need a steam clean grout or upholstery, etc. Or in this case, melting ice. Now I'm going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove this little white screw in the bottom right hand corner of the ice maker. Don't lose that screw. Then there's one more little white screw on the left hand side on this plastic electrical cover that covers the electrical harness that plugs into the ice maker. Again, don't lose that screw either. Give you a closer view. So you can see where I moved those 2 screws. That allows you to pop off that plastic cover to reveal the wiring harness right there. And it simply unplugs by depressing that clip. I had to use a flathead screwdriver to help me get it to unplug and wiggle out of the female plug. And then this simply hinges down. You can see that stainless steel tube in there that has refrigerant going through it. You don't want to puncture that or damage that, but you will gently need to slightly bend that down a little bit to give clearance for the ice maker to pull down and out of there. Otherwise, it will not pull out if you leave that cooling tube up in there. But again, don't bend it too much. You don't want to break it. Next, we'll go ahead and carefully remove that wiring harness by disconnecting that plug that I showed you. Simply depress the clip and pull the male cap or the male end of the plug out of the female plug. That's what it looks like. Now I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and very gently pry down a little bit on that stainless steel cooling tube, as you see I did there. Maybe about 3/4 of an inch at the most. Again, don't bend it any more than that because you don't want to break it or kink it. I depress this little clip up here, this tab, and then I pull forward and down and the whole unit should slide out. And I'll try to stay out of the way of the camera while I'm doing this the best I can.
Woo!
There's what it looks like. You see the wiring harness. You can see how that hinges down where the ice is made. You can see the slots right here where it attaches up inside. There's one in the back corner there. That's what the unit looks like. So give you a close-up view. You better see that stainless steel cooling tube. Again, it's fragile. Be very careful with that. So here again, using my handheld steamer in the very back of the ice box here, there's some ice buildup. Right in the back of this, you'll see 2 Y-clips, a piece of styrofoam, and a rectangular white plastic seal where the stainless steel refrigerant tube comes through the back. You don't want any ice buildup on there because when you go to install the new ice maker, you don't want it to jam up or hit up against any ice. So I'm just very gently melting off the rest of that ice, being careful not to melt or damage that little styrofoam block or that plastic seal. If you need to, they do offer a kit where you can replace those 2 Y-clips, the styrofoam block, and that little white plastic rectangular seal back there. This one seems to be in good shape. Next, I'm going to shine my flashlight up on the side underneath the ice box. And what I'm going to be looking for here is for any of the light coming through up into the ice box. If I see my flashlight light coming up into the ice box there, I'm going to want to apply a special silicone sealant to seal up that seam, because you don't want any warm, humid air from the refrigerator getting up into that colder ice box, ice maker area. Here's a better view of those Y-clips and that white plastic seal and the styrofoam block on the back of the ice box. So before installing the new ice maker, I'm just going to make sure the inside of this is completely clean and dry. We don't want any water in the electrical connections. So here's a new ice maker. There's a part number sticker on the front. You can see that slot in the back, and those 2 slots in the front. That's what you need to try to line up when you slide this up in there. There's little pegs or bosses or tabs that those slide onto. All the while, keep in mind you need to watch that stainless steel cooling tube to make sure you don't bend it or damage it and that it slides inside the ice maker at the same time. And it should snap up in there. There we go. Now we're going to very gently pry that stainless steel cooling tube back up into place, like so. Then we'll close this little door. There's a tab on the left-hand side that you need to click into place. You might need to use a flathead screwdriver to help you do that, like I did here. Then use your Phillips head screwdriver to install that little white screw. Next, we'll go and reconnect our wiring harness. It only plugs in one way. Plug the male end into the female end. You'll hear it and feel it click into place with that little tab. And there's a little channel where the wiring harness sits inside of. Pretty easy. Then you reattach the cover. Let me give you a closer view there. You can see it installed. Please slide that cover back in place. It'll kind of snap in place. And then reattach that one little white screw in that bottom corner you see there. Then simply slide the ice bucket back in and turn on the fridge again the same way you turned it off. You should hear the compressor kick back on. Give it a few hours to make some ice. If you still notice icing up, then you may need to replace the defrost heater or the defrost thermostat or the control board. I hope this information helps you. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.